clutch, collective, competitive, compassionate. What other things start with C? Celtics, and they lost. It's POSTCAST. David Locke along with Ron Boone as the Jazz pull this one off tonight. And Ron, let's just start with what impressed you the most.
Again, and I've talked about it all ball game, David. It was the aggressive defense, the thing they really got after it on the perimeter defense. I don't know if this is something that Will had talked to him about, wanting to be more physical, wanting to be more aggressive, but that's exactly what they were. Did the Jazz have anything to do with some of the three-point shot misses? Maybe yes, but the Celtics didn't have a very good shooting night from the three-point line.
11 of 51 from three. That's truly the story of the night. This team takes the most threes of anyone in the NBA. I told you I thought we could have 100 threes up in the night. The Celtics eventually got their 51 up. The Jazz got up 31. Jazz didn't shoot much better. Jazz were 9 of 31. Celtics were 11 of 51. In other words, we're not going to go down to the Boston Art Museum and frame this one anywhere. But we'll take it as a W.
I'm glad to get a win. And here in the arena, I haven't seen very many. I never won here, so I'm glad to see the win. But
you never won here ever?
I never won here. Oh yeah. With the Lakers, I did win.
Okay,
here.
You dropped 40 here though.
Right, but I had 40. Yeah, I did.
I mean, it's pretty freaking cool to be able to walk around just casually say I scored 40 in the Garden.
Yeah. Okay, so the Celtics ended up with 4 for 17 from the three-point line in the first quarter.
Yep.
And the Jazz ended up coming back and making it a ball game here, only down 4 points after that great start they got going. So you could just see right from there that the three-point line was not going to be their friend for the night.
Third quarter is when this game changed. Jazz were down 10. They'd scored 36 points. It was the lowest point total they had in many, many years in the first half. And Keyonte George, they couldn't get Lauri going. Part of the reason they had 36 points in the first half is they could not get Lauri going. And Keyonte George explodes for 16 points in the third quarter tonight. Ron, what are you seeing from Key?
Well, you notice where his points came from?
Free throw line.
Free throw line. Going to the hole, not settling for jump shots, not trying to just be so creative and being aggressive, going to the basket, getting fouled, and knocking down free throws.
The idea that Keyonte George took 16 shots and scored 31 points is about as foreign a concept as anything we saw in his first 2 years in the NBA.
That's only 2 3-point field goals made there as well. So you find different ways to score. You find different ways to make yourself noticeable out there on the floor to help your team win. And he started going to the basket. Just think about the number of left-handed layups that he made in this ball game. Setting the guy up, driving to his left, and finishing over the top of tall defenders with the left hand.
What's so different about him, Ron, is when he's finishing those, he's so much higher than he was a year ago. He's up over the defense using this athleticism. I talked with Chris Jones, who is his coach, who worked with him, and one of the things they've worked on is that Key is lower while he's dribbling, which allows him to hold the straight line and draw these fouls. But then by being lower, it allows him to rise up and get over it.
Yeah, and also being lower makes you much quicker, much faster. Your moves are much faster, and you can get all the way to the basket.
The other aspect of this one, Elijah Harkless moves into the regular rotation. Will Hardy, at some point, you got to be a man to your word, right? Like he's basically said, like, we got to guard guys, we got to stay in front. There's no question who the best defender on this team is, and he takes Bryce Sensabaugh out of the rotation and puts Elijah Harkless in.
You want to see his line?
Yeah.
Okay, you would look at his line there. He was about 21 minutes, 1 for 4. He had 1 rebound. He had 2 assists, 5 fouls. So where was he good at?
Well, and the other one,
defense.
honestly, is like, I'll bet you in the defensive stats, he doesn't look that good because he was guarding Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And Jaylen Brown scored like 9 straight points on him. But there was just an energy and effort element that he brought to this basketball game that was different than what we've seen from Utah in the last 2 nights.
The second ball game in a row, he's added that as well.
Yeah, and he's been doing it in the fourth quarters. We'll see. And I think there's something to this kind of player in the NBA right now that they're allowing a little more physicality. I think you've got to be guarding guys at higher up. And, when last night was an example to me, and my whole podcast today was like, don't be the get well guys.
Yeah.
Don't be the guys where everyone gets well. And frankly, Derek White has been awful this year. He did not get well today. Peyton Pritchard has not been great. He got a little bit better tonight. But it would have been hard to get well on the Jazz if you're being guarded and defended by Elijah Harkless.
11 for 51 from the field with 22% from the three-point line. That is not what we saw with the Celtics last year. But tonight, they just didn't have it.
We'll talk more about tonight's ballgame, what the Jazz did defensively in a bigger picture. Also, what the Celtics did to make Lauri Markkanen have a tough night. But the NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in the action than with FanDuel. FanDuel's the official sportsbook of Locked On and the official sportsbook of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride a hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you even can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports partner, betting partner of the NBA. Today's show is also brought to you by Monarch. Get into the action with Monarch at 50% off your first year at monarch.com. With Monarch, most of us are not entirely sure where each dollar goes or how each dollar is allocated, where it all is, the 401ks, the savings, the investment. It's easy to lose track. So why not get it all organized to make sure you're not leaving money on the table? That's why you start using Monarch, the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch's visual dashboard, smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money's going and how to make it work harder. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use Monarch. At monarch.com, use the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com/LOCKEDONNBA is the code for 50% off. Ron, Keyonte brings us back in the third quarter, but it's Kyle Filipowski who opens up the fourth quarter, and Kyle has really not had a very good year yet. 13 points, 8 rebounds, most of those in the fourth, but a different type of game from Kyle. He wasn't looking to distribute. He wasn't looking to take a lot of threes. He was putting it on the deck. He was playing off the spin. He was kind of back into Duke Blue Devil, Kyle Filipowski.
Yeah, 16 minutes to play he got tonight, and 13 points, and that's about good for him, I think. And I was really glad that he was able to score in the paint tonight. Because you remember the game plan was the Jazz getting multiple touches in the paint. They ended up with 54 points in the paint tonight, and Kyle Filipowski had a lot to do with that.
I'll be interested to see if him playing with Kevin Love is actually helping him a little bit, in the sense that Love opens up some space on the floor, and he then is able to play in more space, because he did have more space tonight. Boston is not necessarily a team that denies a lot of threes. They're 24th in the league in allowing threes, so it's not like they're a team that just sucks on to shooters and lets you play in the middle of the floor. So I don't entirely know why Kyle had so much more room tonight, but he certainly did.
Yeah, you just hope that he continues to play this way. That way he'll work his way back into, I won't say he'll work his way back in the starting lineup, but he'll work his way back into more minutes and maybe having put himself in the ball game with in pressure situations and minutes that really mean something.
Lauri's been incredible. Why was he unable to get going tonight?
Well, I thought that they just smothered him tonight, and you notice when he was trying to back in, sometimes put the ball on the floor, then they lots of hands down in it, and I thought that kind of bothered him at the beginning of the ball game because he wasn't getting those clean looks. I did like the fact that they start trying to post him up a little bit so where he can shoot over the top of defenders, but that didn't work for the most part. He only had 7 field goals in 17 attempts. He's been averaging about 21 shots a ball game. So he was just, you have nights like this. I mean, there's going to be next night, he might be back to what we've seen all season long.
All right, let me go to one thing. It was clear that Portland came into Utah, pressure defense, and drove downhill on everybody on the Jazz. And then every team's done it since, and we had no answer for it. Did Boston have the personnel to execute the game plan that is the book to beat the Utah Jazz, or was this actually a pretty good matchup because they don't have the offensive personnel other than Jaylen Brown, who did finish with 36 tonight to drive downhill?
That's not the Boston Celtics MO. I mean, they are three-point shooters. They don't not get after you that way. Now, looking at the personnel, do they have with White and maybe Pritchard, but I'm not so sure that anyone else, can play that way. But they try to win a little bit different. So
plus minus tonight, positive off the bench, which we have not seen in a long, long time. All right, Ron Boone. Last night, by the way, I got us off the air before. Ron disagreed with me. I thought if you lose by 20 in Charlotte, and Charlotte's not won the fewest games by 20 of any team in the NBA, that nobody got a Jazz note. Ron wants it to be Keyonte, Lauri, and Taylor Hendricks from last night. So Lacey put down the book because Ron actually dictates this, not me, but I was not giving out Jazz notes last night. Ron Boone, on a Nurkic post tip-in to win it, who get the Jazz notes tonight?
Nurkic for sure, and Keyonte and Kyle Filipowski. Now, does Harkless deserve one with the way he just brings that energy? So
you decide, Ron. I have no opinion
tonight.
On this at all, Ron. You decide.
We'll give 4 of them out tonight.
Harkless gets one as well.
Right.
All right. Can I nominate one other player?
You just said I
just want to nominate.
Okay, nominating.
Kevin Love played 16 minutes. He had 7 rebounds. He had 3 assists. He was +1. He dove on the floor at 73 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was pretty good tonight.
You'll let Lacey decide that. Okay, give Kevin Love one.
Lacey said yes. Good answer, Lacey. That is POSTCAST. Have a great night. Thank you very much.